Good morning, everyone, or good whatever time of night or day it is in your part of the world, I suppose I should say. So, I'm talking about season 6 of The Masked Singer, episode 9 today. Um, and I'm also going to mention a little bit about Alter Ego, the newest episode of it. So, I don't think I'm going to say who got sent home on Alter Ego. I actually maybe I won't talk very much about it because I don't recall the names of the people that performed as that is. There were two guys that performed against each other again, two females that performed against each other again, and the guys, when they performed, I thought that the one that got sent home should have stayed. I do know that he was an Asian guy, the one that got sent home. And then the females, when they performed, I totally agreed with who went home and who stayed based on the performance that they did on that episode. But anyway, so I wrote some notes for this episode of The Masked Singer before I even saw this episode. I'm going to put some Noxina on my. Anyway, so yeah, I made some notes on it before this episode even came on, and the note that I made was, let me start by saying, OMG, I feel ignorant. And now I don't necessarily agree with what I had decided on at this point. Bull is totally Drake. Disney, the version of Degrassi that Drake was on and played for Jimmy, I believe was his name, in the wheelchair, was on the Disney Channel. It was Degrassi, The Next Generation. He grew up in Forest Hill, Toronto, Canada, which is part of what made me think, maybe not. But the population of that specific suburb of Toronto, Canada, is currently 28,331. So I was like, maybe. And he has a clothing line, which is called October's Very Own. And he's very close to his mama, which was what led me to Drake. Part of it, the rapping and the Drake, and the mama thing led me to him. And, I was like, focuses on the rapping. And then I was like, maybe not. There was an iMac from the 1990s, right? Well, he was born in 1986. So I was like, well, perhaps. I mean, it could be a later. When I was looking up that particular iMac computer online, I believe it was a version that was from 1996-ish or so. So he would have been about 10 years old then. But I was also trying to think on Degrassi, like what kind of computers did they use? And did maybe somebody gift him an iMac computer like that on there? I was like, I don't remember for sure. But that was the note that I made before then. And I was like, it's probably actually still Channing Tatum. But it seems to me like Bull has a clothing line, and that I know of Channing Tatum does not have a clothing line. Last week, the song that Bull sang was Make You Feel My Love by Adele. And I was thinking that he said that he had a connection to that singer, but that was Skunk that made that comment. Actually, it was not Bull. But anyway, so now I'm going to really get into this season, this episode, and I just went ahead and right off the bat went ahead and tried to guess. I watched it holding my grandson, just listening to them. And then I went back and watched it later. And that's why I'm so late making this video, is because I've been doing that the last couple of episodes. I'll go ahead and hold him while I watch it initially through and let him enjoy the show with me. And then I go back and watch it and take more in-depth notes on the clues and such, which this episode to me did not have very many clues, aside from the bling shot clues, which I actually called panel connection because that's what they were about. But so my initial guesses were that Bull is either Drake or Eminem, which is based on their singing and dancing around the stage. I'm not really paying any attention to the clues, unless there was something that really stuck out, which there wasn't for any of them, I don't think. And Pepper, I was like, she could still be Lisa Kudrow, but I don't really feel like she is. So I was also kind of maybe leaning, because of the good girl thing, toward Hillary Duff for her. And Jester, I was going still possibly Jack Black or Gordon Ramsay. But then he said the Twisted Neighbor thing. And I was like, he could be Dee Snyder. Somebody had said Dee Snyder before, which turned out to be Jenny. And for Skunk, I was like, I guess possibly she's still Taraji P. Henson, though Skunk did say in real life, I'm such a man, and Taraji P. Henson seems to be pretty feminine. So I'm like, maybe not. But I have come up with somebody else that better fits that description for Skunk whenever I was thinking about the show last night. So this episode was the Group A semifinals. And the characters, of course, were Bull, Pepper, Jester, and Skunk. Two of them were revealed. I will be saying who those were at the end. Everyone has probably already seen this. Oh, and before I forget, please subscribe, hit the like button, and feel free to comment when you watch this video. So they had a special guest panelist, which was Will I Am from Alter Ego, and he was also the lead singer of the Black Eyed Peas. And then they were reminding us again about the take it off buzzer, and it said that it can only be used once per group. I was like, oh, once per group. I thought they could only use it once all together. And then supposedly, and for those of you who have seen the episode, you know, but supposedly the character will have to immediately take off their mask and be revealed and head home. That didn't happen. But anyway, yes, the buzzer was used on episode 9, and that was not what happened at all. But anyway, which is good, because I'm like, I want to know where the person would actually fall, even if one of the panelists decides that they adamantly know who the character is, who's portraying the character. So anyway, the first one that performed was Bull, and he said that he's used to performing solo. And then they showed a picture of Sun, I noticed, and I was like, well, he said that they showed a picture of Astronaut earlier on, so is this maybe actually a country singer? Which totally confused me, because I'm like, I mean, he could be a country singer. I don't know. This could be Luke Bryan. It could be Lee Bryce. It could be pretty much anyone who can sing and do a great job of it. And I was also thinking about the fact that he said he was concentrating on the rapping on that one. He said, normally I focus on what's inside, but today, or right now, I guess is how he said it, but right now I'm focusing on the rapping. And he sang Britney Spears' Circus, which has a part in it that is kind of like rap, in my opinion. And then he again said something along the lines of, ordinarily, I'm a person who focuses on what's on the inside. So I'm like, he's a good Samaritan type guy. And see, that again makes me think of either Eminem or Drake. Eminem was very, very estranged from his mom. And as far as I know, they're still estranged. I don't think there's ever a chance that they will be best buddies and she would be his special guest. So that's the thing that has me going. It's most likely not Eminem, right? Unless there is someone that he's adopted as his mom that he feels like he can be that close to. Oh, goodness me. But yes, he said he compares himself to others to the point it can be crippling, because he hears the other people performing in their dressing rooms and stuff or on the stage and is like, oh my gosh, I have to go up against them. So it can be crippling to him, knowing that he has to go up against them. He said he recognizes Skunk's voice. He's listened to her since he was a child. So I'm going, so Skunk is somebody who's older and he's someone who's younger, which works with any of the people that I am thinking that Bull could be, and the person that I'm thinking perhaps Skunk is now. He said that he's here to show the performance he's doing tonight. He's here to show people that he is a true triple threat. To me, okay, a triple threat could be someone that plays an instrument, sings, and dances. It could be someone who sings, acts, and drives a race car. It could be several different things. So I'm not sure exactly what type of triple threat that he is. I'm pretty sure he has a clothing line. This has led me to RuPaul off and on Bull for a while here. And I also considered him for, I believe it was Mallard briefly. But especially for a bull, because of the clothing line thing that they have shown racks of clothes a couple of different times. Then they showed the tennis shoes. But anyway, um, but yeah, he said he was here to show that he's a true triple threat. And so I started leaning toward Nick Lachey. At this point, I'm listening to him sing, and he is talking about how nervous he is and how he compares himself to the other singers and that he's a solo artist. Okay. They were like, well, okay, so he's not a boy bander. And I'm like, I mean, Justin Timberlake went solo, Nick Lachey went solo. I'm sure there are other boy banders who went solo. He could totally be a boy bander who had a solo career also. Joey Fatone sang solo for a while. I believe so did Lance Bass. So he may not be a boy bander, but right now I'm leaning toward Nick Lachey for Bull. The panel connection was Ring. And at one point in time, which has been quite some time ago, he dropped, or his new wife, Vanessa, I'm not even going to think of her name, but she dropped her engagement ring down, or she accidentally threw it away. So he pilfered through the trash to find her engagement ring for her. And there was the big, Jessica Simpson at that time was engaged to Tony Romo. And there was the big, which engagement ring is better, Jessica's or Vanessa's, that whole thing. So that's a ring deal. But I did not hear it's supposed to be a panel connection and it's supposed to be for a specific member of the panel. And I did not hear them say who that one was for. Jenny was the one that got it. But I don't know that means that it was for Jenny. And the word, as I said, was ring. And he said to Will, you and me have more in common than you know, which is what part of what led me to Nick Lachey. Now, I looked up some stuff about the Black Eyed Peas, and I was like, it could possibly be Taboo. But Nick Lachey and will.i.am are judges on Alter Ego together. And I keep going, it's got to be someone that can sing down and it can sing really, really up there. And Nick Lachey fits that category, as do several other people, of course. But I was like, could it possibly be Nick Lachey? So I looked it up, and Nick Lachey was born in Harlan, Kentucky, which in 2010, which was the newest census information concerning Harlan, Kentucky. But in 2010, the population was 1,745. That's 1,745. So yeah, that definitely would be considered a very small town surrounded by cows, right? So I was like, this could really be Nick Lachey, in my opinion. And the song that Bull performed was Rain on Me by Lady Gaga and Ariana Grande. And as always, he did a really good job. The next one to perform was Pepper. She said she's kind of had a good girl thing for a long time. And I was like, so kind of. So she wasn't really necessarily considered a good girl. She said she has the ability to tell a story, and a person she loves and cares for most faced the unthinkable. And then let's see. I didn't get very many clues for her whatsoever. The song she sang was Sign of the Times by Harry Styles, which she did a really good job on. And listening to her perform, her saying someone that she loves the most, face the unthinkable, and the kind of a good girl thing that she had for a long time, I decided she probably was Hillary Duff. And the panel connection was with Ken, and was the word train. Now I'm going, is that the band Train? Is that like someone that was on Throw Mama from the Train? Is it something in relation to one of the many movies or shows that Ken has done where there was a train and there's some woman that references it? Or like, what is this train connection with Ken here? And I couldn't really come up with anything for any of the people that I was thinking about concerning that. So I was like, I'm still going to go with Hillary Duff, I think, or possibly Lisa Kudrow, still because of the Courtney Cox clue thing. So Ken was the one on this, after the train clue for him, pushed the unmask button. Okay. And as I said, she didn't have to unmask. She wasn't automatically revealed and sent home immediately, as they implied would happen. They didn't imply it. They flat out said that's what would happen. Was not what happened at all. They kind of like Ken looked under the mask and like talked to her or something. I don't really know what he did. But yeah, they totally he got it wrong. They totally did not unmask her. And Ken was thinking that she was Sara Bareilles. And I'm like, I'm not sure what the train has to do with, like, what it would mean for Hillary Duff. But I mean, surely on, oh my God, I'm going to forget the show that she was on, Lizzie McGuire. Surely on Lizzie McGuire, there was some sort of train. Maybe Ken Jeong did a guest appearance on there. I don't know. Maybe she did a voice for a train on a movie or something. I don't know. But yeah. And the next one that performed was Jester. And just what Jester said initially, I wrote down quite a bit of stuff for him. He said, "This show's a riot. It's fun. It's different because it's a completely different way of work." And he definitely, I noted at this point, has an accent, most likely a foreign accent. He said he must seem like some type of scallywag coming in to the show late like this. He said he's a man who came in from the cold. And he said the person who will get the biggest kick out of this is his wife. They've been together 45 years, but unfortunately, her health isn't what it used to be, which is what led me to Ozzy Osbourne. I'm not sure how long him and Sharon have been together. They've been together for a long time. And he went through his health scare thing with the medicine several years back and all. And she had, I believe it might have been a brush with breast cancer. I don't recall exactly for sure, but I do know that there was something that was going on with her health. So I was like, well, maybe it's Ozzy Osbourne. Gordon Ramsay and his wife have not been married for 45 years. Gordon Ramsay is only 55 years old. So I was like, can't be Gordon Ramsay, though I think he would be an excellent guest, besides the fact that they've not been married that long. Now, Jenny went ahead and guessed Dee Snyder, and not to give anything away too soon, but and she's like, I know him and his wife have been married for 40 years. And I'm going, he said 45 years. So that's the case. Then it's not him. Anyway, he said, no illness can stand in the way of how much he loves her, which is just so super sweet. And he said that his performances will be a complete blast for her, and she'll know it's him without a doubt. The song he performed to was I Am a Man of Constant Sorrow by the Soggy Bottom Boys. That song is featured on the movie Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And I, as I said, was thinking Gordon Ramsay was a good guess again, but he and his wife haven't been married that long because Gordon Ramsay is only 55 years old. Therefore, I went with Ozzy Osbourne. Yep, that's right, Ozzy Osbourne. And the panel connection was with Robin Thicke and was cake. And he said that he said, hey, twisted neighbor, have your cake and eat it. And so I was like, Dee Snyder, because of the twisted neighbor thing, or possibly Weird Al because of the eat it thing, right? Weird Al Yankovic sings eat it. Anyway, so I was like, possibly one or the other of them, but I was still leaning toward Ozzy Osbourne because of the married 45 years and his wife's health not being as good as it once was. He has a great sense of humor, and I stuck with my new guess of Ozzy Osbourne for him. He said that he tried to maintain proper dignity through his time on the show, and I was like, so witty and entertaining. But so the next one that performed was Skunk. She was the last one to perform. And she says Bull is the one to beat. he's bringing all the energy. She needs more passion. There was another word that I missed. I don't recall exactly what it was. And soul. She sang Etta James's "At Last" and said that Etta James would want this singer, the person that is singing in the skunk outfit, to play her in a movie. So I was like looking up stuff about Etta James and movies and stuff like that, and it's definitely not Beyonce. Beyonce sang one of Etta James's songs one time, and Etta James was not impressed and thought, I'm still alive. I could be up there singing this song. It was apparently at a presidential inauguration or some sort of presidential thing that Etta James was invited to, that they had Beyonce sing. And her comments on it were, I'm sitting right here. I could sing the song and do it way better than Beyonce does. She has no right to even be up on that stage, let alone performing my song on that stage while I'm still alive. So anyway, she said that she's glad that she can do this for her kids, and they can see their mom has still got it. So I'm like, she's kind of an older person, maybe. Alexa, does Macy Gray have any children?
Macy Gray has 6 children.
Whoa. I wasn't expecting that. Alexa, stop. So anyway, Macy Gray apparently has 6 children. So their mom has still got it thing. And just listening to her tone when she was singing, I was like, it's not that real distinct Macy Gray whine type, but I could hear it sort of sounding like Macy Gray a little. I can also see a little Tina Turner in there, but not enough for me to go, that's Tina Turner, right? So the panel connection was with Nicole, and it was the word love, and she said we kind of have a love connection, or we sort of have you could kind of say we have a love connection, I guess is what she said. And then Maskey came on and gave us a big clue, which didn't help me at all, really. It was a map of the United States with red dots and red lines of travel, is what I'm calling them, dots where she traveled to, and the red lines indicating where she's been. Now, the things that I noted about this is that there was very little on the west side of the country at all, especially the Northwest. So it was more concentrated in the middle of the United States, but to the left side of the middle, and on the entire eastern side, especially New York and Florida, and then to the south over to Texas, and then kind of stopped there. So I'm like, so it's someone that's from either the east or the south, probably. I don't recall if I looked up where she's from or not, but I was thinking about, Maskey said, does it give any direction to who she is? So I'm going, so she's a director, possibly. But yeah, it was like mostly east and south, but not southwest. And so I was thinking about the boombox from the 90s. That was a clue from the 80s or 90s. That was a clue for Skunk. Well, actually, I was looking back through what I had written down for her. And the boombox, you may recall, I noted back whenever that was given as a clue, was playing religious music. And I was like, So that led me to Sister Act and Whoopi Goldberg, who I decided to go with for Skunk for right now, because Whoopi can sing. She can really sing. There are some other people that I was still considering, such as Pink. I'm like, but would Etta James want Pink to play her in a movie? I don't really feel like she would. And I'm like, it could still possibly be Tina Turner. I don't recall what year Tina Turner was born. She would be a little younger than Etta James, but not a whole lot younger. And I'm like, I swear that I recall someone saying at one point in time that they were a huge Etta James fan. And she's the one, by the way, that's Skunk was the one that said that there was a connection. She had a close connection with the person who performed the song that she was going to perform this week. So that was Etta James. And so I recall someone saying in an interview one time that they're a huge fan of Etta James's, and they had met her, and she had told them that if they ever made a movie about her life, she wanted them to portray her in the movie. And I am leaning toward that being Whoopi Goldberg that said that, but that may not be accurate. There are a lot of people who still seem to think that Skunk is possibly Queen Latifah. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, her saying that I'm such a man in real life thing could make some people think that she's Queen Latifah. But to me, Queen Latifah has always been a very feminine woman. She seems to enjoy wearing the heels and dressing up and going to the awards shows and stuff like that. You know, it's not like Ellen and shows up in tennis shoes and a tuxedo. But whereas Whoopi Goldberg, a lot of times does wear pantsuits to events and tennis shoes. And I think to her, it's more important to be comfortable in her clothing as well as her skin than it is to dress up and like, I don't know, to me, she just seems like more of a tomboy than Queen Latifah. But anyway, so I am going to tell you who got revealed, and I went back and watched, they explain a couple of the clues, not a whole lot of the clues for the people that got revealed. So I went ahead and wrote down the explanations for the clues, and I kind of already gave away one of the people that got revealed. And I'm sorry I didn't mention Alter Ego much at all. It's a really good show. I really enjoy watching it. I was thinking that I had taken some notes in this notebook when I was watching it, which apparently I did not. So yeah. And I was thinking that the ones that performed this week were Misty, Rose, and Fern. And I'm like, no, pretty sure that was last week. I was thinking those were the females. But anyway, so please subscribe to my channel, like my video, feel free to comment as always. And now I am going to tell you who was revealed on episode 9, and they did take it down to kind of surprised me, but I'm like, I guess that's what they did last season. They took it from 4 people in group A to 2 people, and then they're going to do the same with group B, which will leave 4 people for the final, which is just kind of weird to me because I know initially they did group A, group B, and group C, and they would end up with 1 person from each group, and they would go against each other. Which I'm like, why not just let everyone go against each other? Anyway, it might have a totally different turnout if you did that. But anyway, so the clue explanations, the first person that was revealed was Jester. And he turned out to be not Jack Black, not Ozzy Osbourne, not Dee Snyder, not Weird Al Yankovic. He turned out to be Johnny Rotten, the lead singer of the Sex Pistols. And I had seen online when I was looking to see what people were saying about him possibly being Jack Black, that Johnny Rotten was one of the people that a lot of people seemed to think he was. And I was like, well, I don't really know Johnny Rotten and his music, but I do know that he is a really big deal. So it would be awesome if he were on here, because like when he got unmasked, will.i.am was just like, oh my gosh, the stuff that you have done for the music industry is just like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you're on here. I'm so glad I'm getting to see you and getting to meet you, you know, because he was just so overwhelmed that Johnny Rotten was on the show. So that's how big of a deal he really is. And the first clue that they did explain was the jacket, which I was like, looks like the jacket Chris Farley wore in Tommy Boy. It looks like one that I'm pretty sure Jack Black wore on Saturday Night Live. Well, the jacket clue, it says, is a nod to Johnny Rotten's revolutionary punk style in the 1970s. I was like, okay. And there was a satellite in his clues, apparently. I don't recall even seeing a satellite in his clues, but I don't catch everything, let me tell you. But there was a satellite in his clues, and that references his song, Satellite. And they asked him about the cake clue. I'm pretty sure it was Jenny that asked about that. And he said that they played a gig at an orphanage one time. and the kids completely smothered them in cake. The kids got them, but the grown-ups didn't. He said that he's been married to his wife for 45 years, and now his wife has Alzheimer's. And she will love that he was on the show as Jester, which is just so sweet. Um, and I loved his outfit. I thought it was awesome. And so then they revealed also Pepper, which I'm sorry, I didn't sleep much last night, but given the performances that they did, whenever we were reminded that two were going home after they had all performed, I was like, well, Jester's going to be going home. As much as I would like to see him some more, I would prefer to see Bull more. Nothing personal, Jester. I loved your outfit and your performances. And I was like, Pepper, I don't feel like did as good as Skunk did. So I think Pepper and Jester are going to be going home. If I could be as good at guessing who people are underneath the mask as I do guessing who's going to go home, especially once they performed on the newest episode, man, I'd be doing good, wouldn't I? But anyway, so it was Pepper, the other one that went home, and she turned out to be Natasha Bedingfield. I love her. I have one of her CDs, and I never would have recognized her voice on there. But there are so many options as to who people can be. So one of the clues that they explained that like I did not even remember seeing, and I was like, oh my gosh, that is such an obvious clue. Apparently, there was a bed in a field of peppers, which was a clue to her last name. Bed in field. Bedding field. Bed in field. Anyway, you get it. And the tic-tac-toe board, you recall she said that she had something that went viral, which I had totally, completely forgotten this clue was even on there for her. But the tic-tac-toe board referenced her going viral on TikTok with her song Unwritten. I'm like, I mean, that song's been around forever and it's a great song. Are there people out there who hadn't heard that song? Apparently so. Anyway, now that like the younger gen has been introduced to Natasha Bedingfield's Unwritten. And I also hadn't thought, like on the video, the music video apparently for Unwritten, there's the words Unwritten, and maybe even on the CD cover, there's the word Unwritten on a heel, like the Hollywood heel, which is why Nicole Scherzinger had initially guessed Natasha Bedingfield, and she chose to stick with her. I was like, I wonder if she would have even thought about guessing her if they hadn't reminded her that she was who she initially guessed. But so Nicole now has one golden ear point, and Ken has one golden ear point. Almost said two, but anyway. So yeah, there are two of them now that have points. And there's only 2 more episodes, so that's interesting. I hope they don't each end up with 1 point. That'd be terrible. But anyway, I don't recall if it was Jenny or Nicole, but one of them asked her about the person that she loves the most that she said went through the unthinkable. And she said that her 3-year-old son had brain surgery right before the pandemic. He's doing incredible now. She said he's perfect. It made her realize what's most important. And she pointed out that her Pepper outfit was red, and she's like, his favorite color is red. He's gonna so totally love this, and that just it almost brought me to tears. It's almost bringing me to tears talking about it now. But I really enjoyed that episode. I really enjoyed, like, I know there are a lot of people that probably don't know who Natasha Bedingfield is. My sister apparently didn't know who she was. And a lot of people probably don't know Johnny Rotten. Like I said, I don't really know him, but I know that he's a big deal, as Will.i.am pointed out. So I was glad to see both of them on there. Just goes to show, this season has really been filled with a lot of big name celebrities. I should make a list of who all has been revealed so far this season. And like who the people were. Tony Braxton, I recall, was on there, and Vivica A. Fox, Larry the Cable Guy, all sorts of big names. It's just so awesome to be watching it. And and watching the show grow, like people who are more well known, more in the limelight, appearing on there. I just think that's really awesome. But I am going to go ahead and let you guys go. If you have bared with me for this long in my video, I do have some stuff I need to get done, and hopefully I don't just end up going back to sleep because I did not get very much sleep last night. Anyway, everyone have a great whatever time of night or day it is in your part of the world. Stay safe and stay positive. And I have to get in stream.